Rata, rata, rata. Dun 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 dun.
Alright, now that that's over, hi everybody. I'm Ezra. Welcome to the first TPN podcast.
Should we like trigger a sound effect after that, or I feel like an explosion
we were
sound
going
effect?
to introduce
Oh, we're
ourselves.
introducing ourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Nick.
Okay.
I'm Jaelyn.
I'm Nick.
Oh,
Today we'll be discussing movies, specifically cartoons that were remade into live-action movies.
Yes.
yeah. So this like includes like the Animaniacs. Like I feel, yeah, they came out with the new reboot on Hulu, right? Yeah.
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 Yep.
Yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender. They came out with a live action movie. That was a failed reboot.
Just all the bad ones and the some of the good ones.
I mean, are there really any good ones though?
To be honest, like they're all kind of trash.
Yeah, they are. They are kind of trash. Like, all right, so I'm not sure about y'all, but like when I was a kid, I was really into Sonic, and when I went to go see like the live action Sonic remake movie, it wasn't that bad.
But
Oh, there's no but that. There's no but after that. Well, I know that they were trying to make it into like a cinematic universe, which I know is another problem in the movie industry, where they're like trying to make like cinematic universes out of like one movie and then they fail because they built like that entire structure of that movie being like, hey, it's gonna be successful. Let's make it into a cinematic movie.
Literally.
like once a movie has bad press before the movie even comes out, I feel like it just goes downhill from there.
Well, what's an example? I know there's an example of that. Oh yeah,
Aladdin.
well the Sonic movie, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Aladdin, that's a good one.
Glad because of Will Smith's genie.
Yo,
That was great. That
yeah,
was
to
so
be
funny.
honest, that Will Smith genie was pretty good.
the
that-
memes.
The memes that came out of that were immaculate, but it still was like, like the movie wasn't as good because we all made fun of it for like months before it even came out. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but even when the movie did end up coming out, it wasn't even that good because they tried changing so many plots of it.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
it has like how they try to change stuff too much, but if they do the exact same thing, like the Lion King remake, like it was basically the exact same thing.
Yeah, it was just like,
It was good, it really was, but it's the exact same thing we've seen thousands of times in cartoon form. Now
Well, I
it's
mean,
just
yeah, but
They
with the
cut
Lion
out some
King
songs
remake,
in it.
I feel like with the Lion King remake though, the big issue is with the CGI because like everything,
yeah.
everything seemed too realistic. Like one of the main like things about the Lion King was like all the color of like Africa and stuff, like traditional African colors and dancing and all that stuff. But with the live action, it was just kind of like, guys, look, it's a pig. Look how realistic it looks. Fur.
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
They put a lot in trying to make them animals look good.
Yeah, but I also do want to put like a preference. There is a difference between like a reboot and a sequel.
True.
So like with Dragon Ball, I think that that's one of our examples that we have written down. Like Dragon Ball was a show, but then it had a sequel that was Dragon Ball Z, and then another one which failed GT, which that's a whole different thing. And then Dragon Ball Super, which is a continuation of Dragon Ball Z. So there is a difference between a reboot. So like when like Tom and Jerry's getting a reboot, they're going to try to bring that back, and a actual sequel.
Because I feel like sequels, like you said, they just add to it. Sequels add to the story that's already there. But reboots, they basically just redo the story all over again and try to add some new elements, but it's basically the story. You know what I mean?
They
Yeah,
try
like-
to enhance it.
All
They
right.
do too much. They do too much and then they ruin it pretty much.
Yeah, but what are some like adaptations that have happened that are actually like people do actually like them?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, the 2014 one.
Oh, the
I
20.
think-
So
I
good.
know
Yeah.
that Nick came out with a show that was actually like when I was that age, I was actually into it because it did have a good story and it did split off a lot of the original story and made it like its own thing, which I really liked at the time.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm not sure if it was like the nostalgia that played at that age, because I watched a lot of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was young.
right.
Yeah.
I think also what helped was that was the era where action movies were like at the like top of.
Oh yeah,
like,
it was peak.
it was the peak of everything. So it came out right at the good time, and it was a lot of action in that movie too.
Now, are we talking about the CGI movie, or are we talking about the reboot that was on Nick, or the sequel? Or I guess it was a reboot.
The one with the live action one.
The live action
Oh,
one.
the
one
one
that-
with Megan Fox.
Oh yeah, that one.
That's
Yeah, that one.
Transformers. Wait,
No,
Yeah.
she
Megan
was
Fox
in
was in
Ninja Turtles?
Transformers and Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that. Oh,
Transformers was also another good.
The more you know.
yeah.
Do 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 do.
No,
I feel
but
like
I know
also
they.
another-
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying Transformers is also like, speaking of like Megan Fox being in live action movies, Transformers was also another good franchise. At some point it stopped
Yeah.
being good, but like the first couple movies were really
Yeah,
amazing.
they were pretty good.
Yeah, Transformers fell off. I feel like they're trying to do too much.
Yeah,
like
so
the first one was amazing, obviously, because like introduced everything. The OG Bumblebee, which I loved, still love
Yeah.
to this day.
yeah, so I know with Transformers, one of the reasons that they actually like they failed was because the audience started noticing like the viewers started to notice that everything was like being advertised in the movie. So for an example, I know that there was a big battle in the city where a beer truck spilled, and I forget who Mark Wahlberg was walking down the street, and he picked up a beer, and he says, "Man, I really need a beer right now." So he picked it up, drank it, and said, "Man, I love some Bud Light," and then he kept running.
That's no,
Oh.
That's
Like
dumb.
they're just at this point, movies are just or like money grab movies like Transformers are just basically there to sell toys, try to get as much money as they can, and then once the franchise is dead, they make a horrible animation of it, put it on the public network, and then call it a day.
Yeah, that's sad. Like
Yeah,
honestly.
it's just at some point it's just about money. They don't really care. Like I feel like the worst live action adaptations start off just thinking about money, and the better ones are like start off thinking about like
The
act
story.
and the story.
Yeah.
But at some point they veer off into that money trap because that's what Hollywood is. It's about money in the end, you know.
Which is sad, but it's true.
Which some
is-
things I know there are things that are like based off of like actual like love for the series and like trying to bring it back. So for an example, I think it was back in 2009, early 2000s, when they came out with a remake of or like a reboot of Yogi Bear. They made a movie for that, and that had like a good story. It built on the relationship between the park ranger and Yogi Bear. It stuck to the traditional elements, the traditional like character designs, and how like they cooperate with each other, and that was a good movie. And
Yeah, that movie was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
other franchises started to be like, "Oh, this made money. We
Why
should
can't we do
make
the same?
we can do that."
And then it just
They
didn't.
went downhill from there.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, it all comes back to cash grab. Everybody wants money, but nobody wants to put the effort in to get that money. You know what I mean? Nobody
Yeah.
wants
Hmm.
the research and the time and the love for that story for the money.
Yeah.
But
All these franchises just kind of like just try to build up. Like I said, like these cinematic universes. I said that earlier, and they're just trying to like. So like Marvel started like this big train wreck, basically. So Marvel's like the train that's leading all the carts, and then the rest of the carts behind it. So for like example, so like the Tom and Jerry movie, that's going to try to build a cinematic universe. The Sonic movie, that's going to build a cinematic universe. Like stuff like that's like the cart, and they're just like falling off the tracks, and then the train's just still pushing, and all the other ones are still trying to catch up, but they're toppling and tumbling, and then just creating mass destruction and making everybody really sad and lose a lot of money.
yeah, like you said, the Marvel Cinematic Universe tried to set a precedent, and everybody wanted to follow that, but nobody could live up to the hype of
Yeah.
Marvel, or
Only Marvel's good at being Marvel.
only Marvel is good at being Marvel. And
Like,
like even like especially not DC. Like DC, you can tell like with the Justice League movies, and I think they're not coming out with another one. They're coming out with another Wonder Woman movie, but you
True.
could tell like they would at some point they would want to build on that Justice League story, but nobody liked that movie.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, and recently like Joker, the one that came out 2019, late last year.
oh
It
my
was
god,
really good.
yeah, that movie
Everybody
was
That
great.
liked
was a good one.
Yeah, it was a really good movie.
But
was
that's
that-
because they split off of trying to make it into a universe. Although
True.
I will say at the end of it, it did try to tie connections to Batman, which was going to lead into the new
Yeah.
Batman movie that's coming out, which is going to ruin
There's
the
that new
reputation of
Suicide
Joker.
Squad too.
But like
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, he did a really good job. Didn't he get an Oscar for that movie?
He did get an
Didn't he?
Oscar, yeah.
Yeah.
It deserved, well deserved.
Yes.
Yeah.
The performance was amazing.
But like all these like remade cartoons, they're just kind of sucking off of all our nostalgia basically for things that we
Yeah.
used to watch. And
Yeah, I was about to say that because like people like nowadays like any like remade movie like it just messes with nostalgia and they're like, oh well, before they did this a lot better than now, and it's like
Mhm.
it goes back to the whole money thing, you know. We want to
Well,
try
that
to
just-
remake it again.
yeah, that just kind of leads into the question like, should these cartoons be remade?
Yeah,
You think
I
they?
feel-
some
No, go ahead, Nick.
I feel like the ones that have potential to grow
yeah,
Yes.
and not just like, I feel like these type of movies can be remade if there is a certain amount of love put into the movie that only someone who truly knows the franchise, grew up with the franchise, and everything
Yeah.
else can put into making that type of creation.
exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
Wait. But what movies would you guys like to see? Because I personally, we didn't really talk about it that much, but Avatar: The Last Airbender, if they actually took their time with that movie, or maybe even made it into like a live action series, I think they could do so much better than what they did with that.
Well, like,
True.
for like some examples, I could see certain things getting remakes. So, like, this is probably a horrible example and could probably never work in a live action type show. But like Adventure Time, that could be remade into or be put into a movie like down the line. Like,
Oh, yeah.
probably not live
True.
action, still animation, but like
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Black Panther.
reviving the characters. So
Right.
like for
Mhm.
our children, like who don't know what Adventure Time is, like that movie can be put out. They'll enjoy it, go back to the original series, they'll announce a new series, and then go from there.
Oh yeah. I feel like if as long as they take their time with whatever they're doing, it'll turn out well. Take their time, actually love what they're working on, and not just do it for the money. I mean, money is important, but it's not everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like smaller
Mhm.
studios should be able to do that type of thing.
Yes.
Like I know a lot of some small studios have gotten off with like making reanimations of certain things. So for an example, somebody made a animation of it's on the tip of my tongue. It was like an animation of like this older cartoon, and this big budget studio brought them in, and they were able to animate the remake of the movie. I forget what the movie is offhand,
I know what you're talking about. I forget the name.
but there are examples of people actually having like this type of care for a series and then being involved in a bigger budget for it.
Right.
But like companies like Illumination, for example, they came out with The Grinch. And Illumination is literally made around trying to save as much money as possible with animation while also putting out as many movies as possible.
Didn't Illumination make Despicable Me and Minions?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
made like
Yeah.
Minions, Despicable Me.
And that
Yeah.
franchise they tried to make.
Yeah, that was a franchise that totally just bombed in their face.
Yeah.
Well, they're still trying to revive it, so they're coming out with the new Minions movie actually.
They are.
Yeah, it's called
The Rise of Gru.
Yeah, The Rise of Gru.
Oh yeah, I have seen that. But the Minions craze was popping for a while, but then after a while, everybody was just like, "This is weird."
Well, what kind of happens is like it builds up so much steam and hype, and then all of a sudden like everyone's like, oh yeah, Minions, and then all of a sudden it's like,
It's the
I,
people who watch those movies as children grew up at some point.
Yeah.
And nobody, and if like the new children haven't watched the beginning ones, so they're not going to watch the new ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to like watch the beginning ones to understand like the sequels.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's another thing that made reboots, like live action reboots, kind of bomb because nobody knew the source material.
Yeah.
So that kind
Yeah,
of
that's a good point.
made it go downhill.
Yeah, and like this first Despicable Me, it came out in 2010. That was a decade ago. So
Yeah. Just like
a lot
Frozen
of nostalgia.
and Incredibles, even though Incredibles was such a good movie that it brought people back.
They threw
Mhm.
that. The first Incredibles, didn't it come out in like 2000, 2001?
2004, I feel like.
2000, yeah.
2003, 2004, because it was 14.
Yeah.
well, Pixar usually takes a lot of time to make their own movies. Like they said, like for one person to make one Pixar movie, it would take like 1,000 years or something like that. So
Yeah,
Pixar really likes to take their time with movies, so that it's like you can literally see the fabrics on Mr. Incredible's shirt.
They're
Like,
usually worth the wait.
That's
too.
what makes Pixar such a good franchise.
like it is insane the amount of detail Pixar puts into their movies.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also Pixar, like they made so many nostalgic movies like Toy Story. They made Oh, I
Cars.
said yeah, Cars. I just said brain fart. Fault. I was just trying to think of more.
Yeah, but they have movies like that, and Finding Nemo, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Pixar doesn't milk franchises like that, which is really nice. You don't ever
True.
see like Disney coming out with a show that's based off of a Pixar character,
Exactly.
because they know that if they milk that franchise, then Pixar's name gets thrown under the bus. So that's the one thing I will kind of respect Disney with, is that they know what's good and what's money grabs. It's like Mulan.
Yeah.
That was a definite money grab.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
They didn't. You had to pay $30 just to watch it. You had to pay $30 along with your subscription to
Subscription.
to
Mhm.
watch it.
Like that, yeah, it
Which
was
is
ridiculous.
kind of stupid, but yeah.
So they have like Mulan, Beauty and the Beast. I heard that one was not very good.
It wasn't the best. They used a lot of autotune.
Yeah, you could hear clear autotune in that movie.
Yeah, which like is a shame because they all had great voices, but you just put so much autotune on it, it shows the flaws.
Yeah, again, people trying like the studios trying to do too much, and it just throws the whole movie off. You know.
And what's good about the originals is that they had those flaws in their voices that made it unique, and that's what makes singing voices unique is the flaws. So once you add so much autotune, it just makes weird flaws. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of leads up to the question, like, where did it kind of go wrong in Hollywood? Like, what made all these movies like this? Because there used to be like really original ideas, like Kill Bill. There's so many of them. Like, all right, so Quentin Tarantino movies. All of his movies are extremely original compared to the other one. The Django. That one's like a Western. It's a slave who gets out of slavery, and he works with his slave owner to go kill other slave owners, hunt them down, buy their slaves off them, and set them free.
I've never go, and that is a great description.
It is a great movie. Extremely violent. Quentin Tarantino movies all are extremely violent. Then you have Kill Bill. Kill Bill's about a wife who got shot at an altar, put into a coma. Her baby died, and she's going and hunting down all the people that killed her baby and waiting for that one last person who killed her, who actually tried to kill the baby.
Again, never seen that movie. Great description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like another good one, Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is literally like 3 different stories split into a movie that are all like on the same timeline, except it starts from, I think it goes the ending, the middle, and then the beginning. If that
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
so
sense.
confused
and again, that
watching.
movie is so nostalgic. Like our parents grew up watching that. So
Yeah, but you will never, and if this ever happens, then I'm going to be extremely disappointed. You will never ever see a remake of a movie like Pulp Fiction. because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just
There's
too
no way.
original to make a remake
Yeah.
of.
Literally.
Yeah.
But all these original ideas are just kind of disappearing. You don't see any more original movies.
I know. Just remakes. They're not good.
And all the new movies that do come out usually tend to be like absolutely horrible. Either they're like CGI, just like it's like CGI just threw up on my screen, or there's no effort put into it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I honestly
I
think it goes the same for like Broadway, because what they're doing, like a lot of things are being like, so like Mean Girls, they made Mean Girls the musical, which I might add is like everybody in that who performs in that show is great. The show is great itself, and like Heathers, when they made the musical to that, again everybody in there is great, but they don't have original ideas anymore. They're just taking movies that were cult classics.
Well, yeah, they did the Harry Potter. They made that into a
Harry-
show, right?
Oh, yeah, they did do Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Spider-Man a
The
musical at one.
producers too.
Exactly. I think again, it all has to come down to the producers. While everybody in those shows is amazing and talented and great, and sometimes the shows are amazing, like Mean Girls and Heathers are amazing shows, but they're just remaking stuff that is already made because new ideas are hard to come by now because it's been years, decades, millennia
Yeah.
of great
Long
ideas.
time.
Yeah, but I feel like some of the reasons that like newer movies aren't really working out is because newer generations don't have an interest in older stuff. So,
That's
for an
true,
example, in the 70s, there was a show called Charlie's Angels that was out. Every week,
Oh, yeah.
it was like 3 chicks who were trying to satisfy this guy named Charlie, and every episode would end with, "Did we satisfy you, Charlie?" And he'd
hate
be like,
that.
"No, ladies." So,
That's
some
weird.
director came in and they were like, "Screw men." So, she decided to make a movie. It bombed, and then she blamed it on men.
I think Elizabeth
The
Banks
Charlie
directed.
movie
Is that
bombed?
what her name? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know. The only Charlie's Angels movie or thing I've ever seen is the newest one, unfortunately. Is the newest one.
So,
Which I don't.
they're like half budding all these new movies, giving it a bad rap, and then it just dies. They kill it. They beat it with a bat until it's dead.
Yeah.
It's just not really like satisfying anymore to watch a movie. Like,
Because they see something people like, and they're like, oh, well, instead of making something else people might like, let's just take that.
well, so a lot of the directors now are a lot older. There's not really like any young directors anymore. Edgar Wright, very good director. He did like Baby Driver, Shaun of the Dead,
Baby
Hot
Driver was
Fuzz.
such a good movie.
That's literally my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Soundtrack's amazing. Not the point though. All these older directors are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So like Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino. They have like older ideas that would have worked in earlier times,
Right.
Yeah.
but it doesn't really adapt to newer times. And all movies that do adapt to newer times are like, "Oh look, we're newer times. I have a cell phone."
And I think going along with that, we've been so conditioned with these movies that are like conditioned to us, like newer times, and like you said, that when we see movies that are older times, even though we don't necessarily like all these newer time movies, when we see new movies that are older time, they're so foreign to us that we just like it.
Yeah,
And
it's just not interesting.
they don't introduce us to the characters very well.
Yeah.
So I know with Charlie's Angels, like the way they introduced their character was just like bang, 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 and they basically rely on you like watching the original series to understand.
True.
There's no like, because people in our newer generation don't understand older stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it's just a shame.
Just don't watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they still expect you to watch it. But like Charlie's Angels, that looks cool. Watch the trailer. Oh, that looks boring. Never mind.
Yeah, it's always the trailers. The trailers are never that interesting, and they don't draw you in.
Well,
But
a lot of that also does have to come back to social media, because social media just kind of downputs
Yeah.
everything.
yes,
Like, someone could take a wrong step and be like, "Oh my God, they're white supremacist."
Yeah, so much negativity.
negativity.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I guess that's really it, guys.
Wait. One more thing. I'm pretty sure you all know like the Fast and the Furious franchise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously, like filming 7, Paul Walker passed away.
yeah.
And I feel like Fast and the Furious after that it just went downhill because like they literally lost one of their main actors, and I guess they were like trying to like just bring out content.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not like obviously content is movies, but like they lost the main character, so I guess they were trying to add more like in 9, which got pushed back till next year because of COVID. Yeah, they're adding like another character with his Dom's brother, so I thought that was interesting. They're just like
They're trying to
Sure.
compensate for somebody who was basically the whole franchise.
no, I feel like they're just trying to milk it now because like I mean,
Oh, most definitely. They're definitely trying to milk
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
I mean, 9 of them. At
No
this
doubt
point,
about it.
At this point, 9 of them. You can stop.
yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah, like-
nothing more to tell about it.
I mean, yeah, like obviously, like the first couple, they're so nostalgic. They're so interesting. They were great movies.
Oh,
Then,
that's
like after
that's
Paul
actually a
Walker.
great. That's actually a great point. Like, all these stories, there's no more to tell about it.
Literally,
That's the like when it ended well. So there's no more to talk about with it.
I know they're just trying to milk it so much. It was such a popping franchise, and then
Because
after a while, you can. Well, COVID just threw it off completely. It was supposed to come out this year, and then they bumped it a whole nother year.
No, but like I think you guys are missing the point that I'm trying to make. All right. So, what's a good show that some of you guys watch? Have any of you guys watched like Steven Universe, for example?
I heard of it. I watched a couple episodes.
I have not.
All right. So, what's like a good cartoon that you guys have watched that actually like had a good story?
Phineas and Ferb.
Well, I mean that ended like when they went to college, I think.
Oh,
think that's how it
no,
ended?
Phineas and
No.
Ferb actually is a good example, Ezra.
Is it-
So with Phineas and Ferb, they ended the series with it like they're all grown up, like they're all going their separate paths. Like Phineas finally gets
Yeah.
with Isabella, and it was a good ending. It was a satisfying
Yeah.
ending.
That made me so mad though. Like it took so long for them to get together. And I figured at the end of the franchise they do.
And then
But
they
the-
made another movie, and the movie bombed.
Yeah.
I
There
mean, I
was
watched-
no more to tell about the story.
But the thing about that new movie, it was basically a remake of an episode they did years ago called like When Candace Went to Mars.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember that one. Yeah.
It
That
was
was good.
a remake of that movie with like a twist at the end.
True.
So like it wasn't that original. Yeah, that's probably why it didn't do so well. Because immediately, as soon as I watched the trailer, I was like, "This is exactly that one episode when she went to Mars."
Well,
I
like
think
Yeah.
when it came out, it was around when like Chadwick Boseman died, so I think that really overshadowed it too.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, then again, most of the people who watched the Phineas and Ferb remake were small children that weren't aware
Mhm.
what was happening, or they
Yeah,
were.
just-
was
they didn't-
Chadwick Boseman involved in Phineas and Ferb?
No.
No, it just
So-
happened around the same time.
Oh,
No.
Rest in peace.
yeah, rip,
There's
I guess. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just- Death of a big star that was like a role model for so many young black men.
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a big deal, so you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I was really into Chadwick Boseman. Then he just kind of fell off the face of the earth, and now I know why. Sadly, like,
Yeah.
just kind of, I was just lying in bed one day, and I phoned one off and was like, "Hey, Chadwick Boseman's dead," and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I go on Twitter and it's just all I see. I was like, wow.
yeah." It kind
And-
of pissed me off when everyone was like, "What about the next Black Panther movie?"
That's not important. The important thing is that this man played back Black Panther while having a disease.
Like, this
Exactly.
man was
Yeah.
literally going into like $1 billion budget movie, and he literally had cancer.
Respect for that though. Like,
Yeah. He
Like
was a
the
real
anxiety of
superhero.
getting on to a camera in front of millions, potentially billions of people. Having
knowing that
to,
something bad could happen at any time and you still did it, which is like that's really ballsy, and that's just you just got to respect that. Respect the grind.
I mean, I feel like it'd be kind of a subtle flex to go into $1 million movie and then like during the final scenes just like not show up and then everyone finds out you're dead and just kind of die with like,
I
yeah,
don't know,
I did that.
but
Wow.
I don't know if that's really bad to say, but I feel like that's kind of like a subtle flex just to go out. That's something Nicolas Cage would do.
Low key, yeah.
I'll call him out. Nicolas Cage, if you're ever listening to this, which I doubt, I'm calling you out. Message
he
me. We can figure this out.
Message me. Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at. But yeah, I don't really think there's any more to really talk about with.
Yeah, speaking of milking stuff, I feel like we said everything that had to be said.
Yeah.
Yeah. We veered off into a lot of things that weren't our first topic.
Oh
But
yeah.
I guess they were relevant.
It got deep, you know.
It did get deep.
Yeah, it got really deep.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess I'm Nick.
And I'm Nick.
Hey, do that again.
All right, I'm Nick.
And I'm Nick Taller.
And I'm Jaelyn.
And I'm Ezra.
And we're signing off. Thanks for listening to the TPN podcast. We'll see you next week.